The demon is the metaphor for the darkness that lies inside of all of us.
You use a traumatic experience with a family as the base for horror. So, how do you turn traumatic experiences into horror?
When we talk about horror movies, they are dramatic, right? And they're about the human condition. And so we've all experienced trauma in our lives. We've all experienced pain, regret, grief, sorrow. So to me, you take what you know and you take those experiences and you kind of infuse them into the genre. So I kind of gathered what I knew. And then again, making movies is about the human condition and the heart and just trying to tap into what a lot of us feel with like our senior parents or seniors and taking care of loved ones, and the idea of that the sins of the mothers are passed on to the daughters, that some families haven't gotten rid of, whether it be, let's say, competition in their life in their family, and the kids grew up with it. Now the kids are going to grow up with competition. And so the idea is that you have to kind of get over these experiences to grow. And so Ellie keeps holding on to this grief and everything, and it grows into the demon. The demon is the metaphor for the darkness that lies inside of all of us.
I also, what I like about the film is that it has a very 80s vibe. How do you create an atmosphere that emulates that kind of period but translates it into this day and age?
Well, I grew up in the 80s. I mean, 70s and 80s, and that's what influenced me, all those movies. They say evolve or die. And, I have four kids. So I see what's going on with them. I see what they're doing, what they're talking about, their friends, their world, how different it is from how I grew up. And so it's kind of like I made a movie that for me was a kind of a hark back to the 70s, the vibe of The Exorcist and The Omen and the slow burn and the atmosphere. And I wanted to kind of bring that back into the culture that we have now, which is TikTok and fast and cuts and edits and things, and try to do kind of a vintage feel to it.
Mina's Varys character, I think it's very complex,
Yeah.
very cruel. So how do you work with her to put her in that mindset of, okay, let's be a very intense villain?
Now she was fantastic to work with, and when we met, she asked me, "Is there a film character that kind of reminds you of Alma?" And I said Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, because she's just so like monolithic in her thought process and just stoic and just very cruel. You said the word cruel. That was Alma. That's Nurse Ratched. That's Alma. And so from that on, we just started talking about, the idea of her being a little awkward and just the pauses and the things. And it's like what she's saying, there's a deeper meaning to, and things like that. And so it was just really fun to work with her on the character.